Okay, we're recording.
Hi everyone, I'm Laura.
I'm Steph.
And welcome in the Sister Circle podcast.
Welcome.
The circle where as women we share,
Learn,
grow,
heal,
and thrive.
Hi, before we start, I would like to acknowledge that we are standing on the Gadigal land, Euro Nation. I would like to thank all the elders, past, present, and emerging, for taking care of this gorgeous, beautiful land that I get to live in every day. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is our episode 3 of Women and Anxiety. It was a guest spot, and we are so excited about the conversation.
Excitement. Yes, we are excited, even though it's about anxiety.
Because we are, I think, there's going to be a lot of learning. But before we start, I just want to have a message for the people that are listening. If at any point you feel triggered, if the conversation is a bit hard to listen and you need to take some time apart, you can either pause, leave the room, or stop the podcast and then come back whenever you feel ready, or if you want to. Just this trigger warning before we start the topic.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited.
We are so excited because we have a special guest for you here today to talk to us about her specialty modality that she uses in her psychotherapy to help women or people in general to manage anxiety. However, today we'll be specifically talking about the type of issue, the common issue that affects women that she sees every day. Yeah, so we have a special guest here, Audrey. And Audrey, would you like to introduce yourself?
All right.
First of all, welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Okay, so my let's say English name is Audrey, but my real name is Marie-Aude. And a lot of people in Sydney know me as Marie-Aude, mainly the French-speaking community, but I had to switch to Audrey because for the English-speaking people...
Why? Why is it that the English-speaking people can't say Marie-Aude?
Well, you can, but a lot of them say Marie-Aude, and it ends up, it's pretty annoying. So I explained that Aude is like Audrey, and and a lot of people in the French community now call me Audrey, so... Okay, anyway, so I've been in Australia for more than 20 years. I'm a medical coordinator, mainly for French-speaking patients coming from New Caledonia or wanting to be treated here in Australia. So I organize everything for them, meaning I find the surgeon, organize the appointments, rehab, follow-up appointments, blood tests, anything. And of course, I interpret and translate for them. And the second career, and that's the reason why I'm here today, is a clinical hypnotherapist. So I've been a clinical hypnotherapist here in Sydney for the past 15 years. Although I started to do past life hypnotherapy, regression hypnotherapy, when I was 18, 19 in Paris as a student. So, but
as in for yourself, or you started doing that with clients?
No, not with clients. I learned how to do it, but I was studying international trade. So it was just something that I learned how to do. But I was doing it with
our friends and
students and so on. So, but that's something that I use now. So it's funny, it's funny in the sense that back then I didn't believe in all this, the spiritual things.
That's interesting. How come you were learning it? Here go my ADHD brain.
Because it happened. In the sense that one day, when I was 17, I just knew that Australia was right there on the right-hand side of the map. And that's all I knew, apart from kangaroos and koalas and emus. And then the next minute, there was this obsession about it. I had to go. My friend's sister was a psychologist. Yeah. She had learned all those techniques in America. She had studied with Dr. Brian Weiss, Dolores Cannon, and some other big names. And one day, because I kept on repeating, I'm going to Australia, she said, okay, just sit down and we're going to find out why you need to go to Australia. And I said, oh yeah, what are you going to do? Read the palms, the lines of my hands, of my palm reading. Are you going to do my astral chart? And she said, no, you'll see. I had no idea about hypnotherapy back then. And she started to talk to me and la, la, la. And she took me to a past life. And I had no idea what was going on until she said, okay, look at your feet. Can you describe your feet? And I started to cry because I could see my feet, which were black on the red earth in Australia, obviously. And I could feel that I was an Aboriginal woman back in the 1800s. And I was crying because my life had turned absolutely miserable because of the circumstances, the situations. And anyway, so that lasted 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And after that, I said, I was crying. And I said, what happened? And she said, okay, you need to go back to Australia. I said, I've never been to Australia. And she said, obviously you have lived there. And okay, a few weeks later, I saw her again. I said, seriously, can you explain to me what happened? And she said, well, it's called past life regression. That's a type of hypnosis. And this is what happened. You saw a past life. And that tells you that you need to go back there. And I said, can you teach me? And she said, no.
And so then you learn at school?
No. I was a student in
doing international
trade.
Yeah.
And I said, please teach me. And she said, okay, I'm going to teach you the technique, but you use that only with your friends, and that's all. And I said, yeah, of course, I'm not going to be a hypnotherapist. And there you go.
20 years later.
Exactly.
Amazing. Oh, I love this story. Thank you.
That's fantastic. So you essentially knew that you had to come home.
Yeah.
Well, unconsciously. And everything, it's funny how everything fell into place, afterwards. Everything fell into place.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We have a question that we ask to all our guests that we have on the guest spot. So who was the last woman that inspired you and why?
Actually, that's very recent. She was a lady from New Caledonia who came to get a second advice here in Australia from the doctors in Australia because she had been suffering from liver cancer for the past 5 years. And in New Caledonia, she was told that there was nothing else they could do for her apart from dying. So she wanted to find out here if the doctors had a better news to give her. So we organized everything. Liver specialist, oncologist, and so on and so on. So she came with her husband and 2 of her adult children. After a month of being here, the diagnosis, the verdict was basically a death sentence. Sorry, we can't do much more. You've survived 5 years, which is huge. Huge for liver cancer. And so it was very emotional in the oncologist's room. That lady remained stoic, calm and posed. And she said, all right, let's go home. Let's go home and I'll die surrounded by my family. And everybody was crying but her. She was not crying.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So she was very brave and she died last week.
Oh.
So that was... Yeah, but she knew she had done everything she could. She had come to this side of the ocean. I mean, it was just from New Caledonia, but she was exhausted. She tried to come here to have another answer, but no. And once she was told, no, look, sorry, the metastases have spread, she accepted it.
So that's the acceptance. And
the fact that she accepted. And that she was ready to die. This time she was ready to die. Just before, she said, no, I'm going to try. There must be something else. There must be another solution. And then finally she said, that's it.
There's a beauty with that, I think. With coming to peace with where you are and whatever life has given you.
So why would you say she inspired you?
her calmness, the fact that she was very calm about it. I'm sure she was disappointed. I'm sure she was upset. But the fact that she was calm and she organized somehow the timing of her death afterwards. It was just, that's it.
Oh, was she?
Young, 68.
Okay.
So that's, you could be ready to die at 95, 100. But 68, I think, is too young.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Oh, that's good. Thank you for that.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So, as you know, we are covering today the woman and anxiety theory. And although the topic is not specifically exciting, I think why is it exciting talking with you is because that's through your hypnotherapy work, you're seeing a lot of people, especially women with anxiety. You're using specific technique, and yes, we want to be able to cover this with you today. And what we would like to see is from your what we would like to hear is from your perspective, how do you think anxiety come up with people, and then especially with women?
Personal anxiety, individual anxiety, somehow is a reflection of what's happening in the world, the global anxiety. So there's a lot of anxiety on the planet at the moment. We can
you just speak closer to the mic, please?
Sorry.
Audrey? Yeah.
Feel it, hear it, but also, and when it reaches your individual sphere, it affects you in your family, in your relationship. It affects you in your health.
So in your experience, how does anxiety really show up? So you speak about the global anxiety or the environmental anxiety, and you think that's the most common type of anxiety
I'm saying that it affects us all. But so women will come to see me. That could be about relationships. That could be about illnesses. That could be about work, that could be anything, but like everybody else, it's. But also, of course, if you're a mom, it affects you because you're stressed about what's happening to your children. If you're a pregnant woman.
But why is it so difficult to find our way out of a panic attack of anxiety?
Okay, because anxiety is like a trauma. It's stuck in the unconscious mind. So it's like a smoker or a vapor these days. A smoker knows very well that they have to quit smoking, that it's really bad for their health. So they can tell themselves, I have to quit smoking. But because it's a habit that is stuck in the unconscious mind, it's very hard. Hence, all those techniques that we use in hypnotherapy, that's to say NLP, EMDR, hypnosis, EFT sometimes, these techniques reach the unconscious mind, and that's why we can access the anxiety more easily.
Okay. And when you say unconscious mind, what is it? Is it the same thing that's subconscious?
Yeah, yes.
So what is the subconscious? Is it the part of you that you don't control but that is still there?
I have a different definition for that. A lot of people say it's a broken record. I don't like this definition. To me, the subconscious part is the part that knows you very, very well, that has all the answers about you, be it in this life, be it in a past life, be it in your stuck in your generations. Your subconscious mind knows everything about you. So we need to reach the subconscious mind. We need to talk to the subconscious.
So you say that the subconscious mind knows everything about you,
yeah.
Meaning that everything that you have perhaps suppressed in your past experiences, meaning things that you do without knowing that you're doing, things that you're picking up in the world, things that...
but also to me, let's say anxiety to me is a message from your subconscious mind that you are not where you should be where you should be. Anxiety is actually something positive because it's a warning, a signal from your unconscious mind saying, hey, what are you doing? You're not happy in your life. How much longer are you going to do this until you change, until you get better? So if we can communicate with the subconscious or unconscious and say, hey, okay, got it. Anxiety is a signal that there's something wrong in my life. What do I need to do? So if you start communicating with the subconscious and find out, oh, wow, there's a blockage in my life because of my childhood, or because of something that happened in my mother's womb, or something that happened in my family in the past generations, or even in a past life, where something happens, you start working on all those triggers, and something that didn't happen at 20 because you were not ready or you were not there can happen at the age of 40, for instance, and massive anxiety arrives, and all of a sudden you have to wake up. Hey, there's something you're supposed to be doing. And
something you're supposed to be addressing.
But that's also addressing, you're right. It could be a blockage. It could be an emotional or something that is stuck and that needs to be addressed. You're right.
Like, this is it. It's really interesting because, like, it seems when you talk about that, it seems like it's maybe anxiety is showing up because there's something deep rooted that's coming up.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like I can get anxious for just superficial things, but because it just come up to me right now. So what does that mean?
Sure, but in this case, it's and everybody has anxiety, that type of superficial anxiety. Like, when you sit for exams, of course you're going to freak out for your exams, but that's not, I don't think it's the same type of anxiety as the one we're talking about.
But exams is also not superficial, because what your subconscious mind is associating with that exam is that my whole life is depending on this thing, my career, my thing. So these little things aren't necessarily superficial.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's what your unconscious mind is associating with this. So if your boyfriend leaves you, is it just that your boyfriend left you, or is it catastrophized to, I'm going to be alone, I'm going to die alone, all my safety stuff is gone, do you know what I mean? It's a misinterpretation of the situation.
Got it.
I suppose. Yeah.
And that's where the subconscious mind play a part, because they remember. Okay.
Yeah, and it's not the subconscious mind that puts it there. I'm guessing it's how you've interpreted. It could be from your childhood, from your past life, what happened in the past life. If this was back in the 1800s, women couldn't do really much, so that was catastrophizing. But in this reality, it's different, and that's when the subconscious has to come up. And you put it in the right context, I guess.
Fascinating. Oh, I love it. And I feel like I'm like literally sitting in therapy.
No, but I'm waiting to hear more about, because that's not my specialty. It's not EMDR and hypnosis. But I'm very curious to know more about that. But whenever we get there, it's fine. We can talk about
We can talk about this now. Like you talk about NLP, EFT, hypnosis, and EMDR. Like we would love to demystify like those specific approaches, and then understand how those approaches can help.
First of all, let's move away from the acronym of them. Like, what do they actually mean? What do they stand for, those letters?
Okay, I'll start with NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. So that's a way of reprogram your brain. But I use it mainly to literally walk in the past to find out when a block happened. So that's a way to communicate with the subconscious. And before we start, the person doesn't necessarily know where that's going to take them. So for instance, I could say to the person, when was the very first time you experienced anxiety? And the person looks at me and I said, so I've got 4 questions, and I asked the 4 questions, and the person said, and I said, you need to tell me what comes to your mind first. You don't start thinking about it. If you start thinking about it, it's the conscious mind. So really, it has to be a gut feeling. And very often, it's something that comes up. It could be from the childhood, but it can be the great-grandfather they didn't even know. And they say, whoa, it's past generations. And we start going to explore what happened there. And they said, I don't know my great-grandfather. I don't know what happened there. And I said, if you knew, what would you say? Even if you make up a story, what would you say? Because when you make up a story, it goes up with imagination, and the imagination is the subconscious or is the unconscious.
So you use neuro-linguistic pathways to programming to go
To find the origin of a blockage, of an
Okay.
emotional blockage.
But then if you ask me the question, even unconsciously, I'm just gonna say, oh well, when was the first time? Like maybe 2 years ago or 10 years ago when I had my exam, or
No, because that's the conscious mind. So whereas if you are in a position where literally you walk into the past, or you walk to the past, that you're in a different frame of mind.
okay. So how do you bring people to this past to be able to talk about great grandparents? Does it happen often?
It happens like this. I'll show you afterwards.
It's amazing because when in my experience with clients, when was the first time you experienced anxiety? Depending on the state, obviously, if you're having a coffee with somebody, they wouldn't mind trying to intellectualize it and say, "Oh, I don't know." But when somebody is in that state of pain, it's almost like they can say, well, it depends on their memory, actually, their level of their memory. That emotion is so connected to that time that they were able to actually name it. I haven't had anybody who would say in the past life or anything like that, but they would say when I was 6 or when with my mum or something.
Just to finish on NLP, because like I used to think that NLP was you being able to control people, kind of telling them something and they're gonna move their arms
No,
this
that's
way.
hypnosis.
That's hypnosis.
But so what is the difference with NLP exactly? Like, because we're using neuro-linguistic
Pathways,
programming,
yeah.
don't you have to say things? Don't you have to?
No, not necessarily. There are different techniques of NLP. In NLP, as I said, I use mainly walking in the past and walking in the future as well. So basically, everything we do in my hypnotherapy sessions is going to the past, getting rid of the past, but very quickly. We don't spend too much time finding out who did that, blaming who, and so on. That's pointless. We focus to something in the future, something positive, and say, okay, this happened. We're going to reprogram it so that, yes, it did happen, but you're not going to be so emotionally attached to it, so that you can be free from the past to be more functioning in the present, so that you can focus to the future. And we go there. We go to the future. So what do you want? If you had a magic wand, what would you like to see in your life? And the person said, oh, wow, hang on. I was in pain. I was thinking about that. But now I'm given an opportunity to think positively about something else.
And are you able to remove people off from obsessing about it quickly into the future? So, like for instance, if because you said it has to remain blameless, if you're dealing with somebody and they realize that, you know, my dad, my mom, my sister, whatever, are you able to move them off looking at that person or their relation?
That wouldn't be just me. That would be them as well.
Yeah.
You know, wanting to do it. But with EMDR this time, yes, you can reprogram the brain. So, EMDR, eye movement, desensitization, reprocessing. So that's a technique that was created in the 90s, end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s by Francine Shapiro, who is an American psychologist. She couldn't function anymore herself because of anxiety. And she said, okay, that's it. Just can't do it. I'm going for a walk in the woods. And that has become the most famous walk in the woods in psychology. Because when she came back to her practice, she realized that all her anxiety had disappeared. So she wondered, what did I do for this to disappear? And she realized that while she was walking, she was looking to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. And while she was doing this, she was thinking about her problems. So in a way, the movement of the eyes had reprogrammed instantly the brain while she was thinking about the problems.
What does that mean, reprogramming the brain? Like, does that mean that it changes the belief.
It changes, you're right. It changes the belief. In a way, she became detached. Yes, the problem happened, but there's no emotions anymore attached to that. And that's the same with phobia, that's the same with addictions and so on. So, or something like a big trauma happened to you and you're stuck 24/7 thinking about that trauma and the unfairness and the injustice and the anger and the fear that it could happen again. By reprogramming the brain with EMDR, but by that movement of the eyes, all of a sudden, the emotions disappear. It's like you had chains attaching yourself to that trauma, and we're removing those chains.
And then what happens next?
The person feels neutral. That's the word that comes back. Neutral. Yes, it happened. Okay, I feel neutral about it now. And because...
Go ahead.
And because the person is neutral, that's it. She can leave behind them what happened and move to the future.
And are they able, I mean, they say that, the healing, signs of healing, healing from trauma is being able to reframe the story. And do you have that more, or is it just neutrality, like it happened and it's...
It's more neutrality. In this case, it's more neutrality.
Yeah, okay.
And they themselves say, okay, it happened, I can move on.
I want to believe that when we are a bit more neutral and less emotionally attached to something, we can just be able to like rationalize a little bit more and then as you say, just change the narrative.
Yeah,
as well.
Reframe it as in
I'm not responsible, or
I'm not responsible for it, or what happened. For example, if it was trigger warning rape, it didn't destroy my life.
Yeah, and but you are right in the sense that there is some reframing happening in the sense that okay, yes, I feel neutral about it, but it was not my fault.
Yes, yeah.
It was not me. It was
Like it hasn't taken anything from me, because the trauma is that I'm stuck here and it's taking me. It's blocked me. It's preventing me from doing something.
Yeah.
To be neutral about it, it's not to I'm just trying to think: is being neutral about it, does it minimize the event?
No, absolutely not.
I think that's what I'm trying to.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It did happen, and but
doesn't define me. I think this is all.
That, but also what the person understands is that if I keep that inside me forever, I'm not going to be able to move forward.
It's harming me.
Yes, exactly. It's a poison.
Yeah.
It's a poison that's killing me.
I have a quick question on EMDR. So once you have the desensitization, is it a delay? Is it you're neutral, then that's it, you can pass, or is it just for a time and then it's going to come back in a month?
No, it's not going to come back.
Okay.
So, but it depends, it's like an onion with different layers, with different... So we can do this today and this today and this today.
Got it.
And this is done. But maybe there will be something deeper, and that we'll need to address that another time and so on. But usually what happens is that the person leaves the room feeling completely different.
So interesting what you say when the person who coined this, you said they went for a walk and they kept looking left and right, which sounds to me, it sounds a lot also like the 5 sensory exercise of being present in the present, that I'm not over there, I'm not in the past. Or is it something else that happens with?
I think it was much more. I think it's I think it's something technical that happened in the brain.
Right,
literally,
okay.
The person was looking at the trees on the right-hand side, and while walking, not even realizing that she was doing this, looking at the trees on the right-hand side, looking at the birds on the left-hand side. Oh, look at the sunshine on the right-hand side. Looking at and then something something happens inside the brain.
Yeah.
You just told me now that if I want to fix things, I just need to walk thinking about all my problems and looking at the street.
Well, you can. But, I mentioned that to a girl who came to see me with anxiety. And when I mentioned this story to her, and she said, "Whoa, okay, so I understand why when I go surfing at Bondi Beach, I feel so much better, not just because I'm in the water and I see dolphins and so on, but because I'm looking at the waves coming and I'm looking at one side of the beach and the other side of the beach and la, la, la. So I go to the beach stressed and anxious, thinking about all my dramas, and then I leave the beach feeling totally relaxed.
God, I love this story. I love it.
So that could be it.
And so then, how do you do it? Because I believe when you have your patients that are coming in your cabinet, you have you're not going for a walk with them. So do you use?
No, we're not going for a walk in the woods.
No. Do you use a pendulum?
No.
Although that would be a good idea to go for a walk to get them out of the
absolutely.
stuckness.
Yeah.
But of course, timing and
timing. No, but that's very interesting that you're mentioning the pendulum, because the old hypnotists used the pendulum.
Yeah.
So they knew that something was happening, with the movement, but they didn't know what. So in the 90s, it was the beginning of medical imaging, and we could do brain MRIs and so on. So they knew that something was happening. So I use a magic pen. I've got a pen, and the person follows my pen while thinking about this. So
is it just thinking or talking about it? Is it just thinking about it?
At the moment, I don't know if we can use an example. On a scale of 0 to 10, how high is your anxiety? I would say, I'm not going to use an example. And it's 10. At the moment, it's very, very, very high.
You can try on me if you want.
Yeah. Let's lose Laura as an example.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me.
Okay. And I said to the person, you keep your head straight and you follow my pen with your eyes from right to, so on a width of a meter more or less, and the person does that. We do that, 5-6 times, and then
and I have to think about what makes me anxious.
Right at the beginning, and that's it. Because a lot of people say, I don't know if I can go back there. I said, just a few seconds, just to find out how high is the anxiety. So, a lot of people, when I hear talk about EMDR, they say, but, it's very violent. You have to relive, to live again all this. And I'm like, okay, that's not how I see it. The person has to think about it very briefly, and then we go there and then say, okay, close your eyes, check inside you. Where are we now? Oh, it's starting to go down. 9. Okay, and we start again. Okay, think about it. Oh, I can't because I can't breathe. I'm here. I'm stuck here. I say, okay, focus on this. So it can be something physical all of a sudden that appears. I say, okay, focus on the breathing.
So the anxiety actually showed up.
Exactly. So forget about what you said before. Just focus on the chest. Okay. Okay. How high is the pain in the chest? It's going down to 6. Okay. And then we go to. So it can take sometimes 2 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. So it depends. It really depends on what it is.
Fascinating.
Excellent. So
what about?
Yeah, go ahead.
We still have hypnotherapy and EFT. No, I want to know all of those. EFT,
Emotional Freedom Technique. It uses the same pathways as acupressure and acupuncture. You've got meridians inside the body, and it says that any trauma, physical or emotional, creates a block on the meridians, on the pathways. And so by tapping, there's a circuit. You tap you start with the hands, you go to the top of your head, your face, and...
so it's moving energy.
It's unlocking
the energy that's stuck in a particular place. Okay,
yeah.
I can see right now, but they are all tapping there.
And the thing is, this is reframing, because in this way or exposure therapy, in the sense that you have to say what scares you, for instance. Okay, so a typical sentence of EFT while you're tapping is, taking the example of a child, even if I'm bullied at school, I love myself. I deeply respect and love myself. And while you're tapping, you repeat the sentence. So you're thinking,
because essentially with being bullied at school is being minimized and being treated as worthless. So to say that I love, like I am worthy, obviously.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Yeah.
it's reframing what the subconscious mind, like, so if you're abused as a child, so I'm just trying to get it. So if you're abused as a child and then you learn in your unconscious mind that you are unworthy just through other people's actions, to then tap a particular area and feed that part with a new messaging creates the healing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a particular area, but there's quite a few. I don't know.
And those different few, like it's for different
No,
things?
it's the same. It's a pathway that you have to follow. So you start with the hand and you go to the top of your head and so on and so on. And you repeat the same sentence. So you can use a shortcut, but still you repeat the same sentence for each issue.
And is it you tapping or is it the patient?
The person. That's why it's a good tool. And I teach that to children because adults don't have the patience to do it.
On themselves.
Children have the patience?
Yeah. That's it. Well, because it gives them power. They've got their own tool to do it, you know. So they can do it at school. They can do it in their bedroom. They can do it in the car. They can do... And it's fun, you know. It's like I teach them, okay, the hand, it's the karate, okay, and you repeat. While you do the karate sign, you do da-da-da and so on. And I've got underneath the arms, I call it the monkey, and so they do it. So anyway.
Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah, I think it would work better with children because I used, not that, but when I was a kid, I remember in distress, I used to watch a lot of magic shows. So I would be scraping my fingers to be like, this is what's going to change the situation. Because I used to watch a lot of magic children's shows that I can change my reality.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You started early.
I started early. Yeah. I can change my reality if I just think this way. Yeah.
That's excellent.
Well, yeah.
And so then the last one was hypnotherapy.
Hypnosis,
sorry.
Because to me, hypnotherapy is the mix of all those techniques. So hypnosis is a modality, a technique as such. So hypnosis, everybody knows hypnosis through the shows. So please.
And everyone was like, I don't want to turn to no chicken.
Exactly.
I don't want you to turn me to no chicken. I'm quacking like it.
That's it, exactly. So, and I have a lot of people, even men, coming to my room thinking, oh, what are you going to do? You know? So I have to explain what hypnosis is. So during daytime, our brain functions in alpha waves. That's the conscious mind. And we need that. We need that to read, to cross the street without being run down by a truck. We need that to count. We need that to... When we're about to fall asleep, our brain calms down and goes to alpha waves, sorry.
Alpha wave.
So, sorry, did I get it wrong?
Yeah, you said alpha waves, but like...
So, okay, start again. So, during daytime, your brain is in beta waves. That's the conscious mind. That's the conscious mind, which we need. And we need those waves to cross the street and read and so on. Work, basically. Then, when you're about to fall asleep, your brain goes down into alpha waves. Alpha, so that's the meditation state as well. You're much more relaxed. And then you go down into theta waves. Theta is even more relaxed, and healing can take place there. There's a technique called theta healing, by the way. Mm-hmm. And the deep state of the brain is delta waves. We don't go to delta. We go to alpha, theta.
But delta
is delta dead?
No, it's sleeping. Isn't it sleeping? When is it the sleeping stage?
And even when you're dead, I'm sure we still have frequencies.
That's what I'm saying. Is delta dead?
No, I'm confused. When is the sleepy stage?
Even in alpha waves and theta waves, the person can be asleep, but still hearing everything I say. So, by the way, I do hypnosis lying flat on a bed so that the person doesn't have a sore neck waking up. So it's very comfortable with blankets and a pillow. So the person can fall asleep if they want to, or not fall asleep. And some people say, no, I was here the whole time listening to every single word you said. Some other people say, I fell asleep, can't remember a thing. I said, don't worry, your unconscious mind
It's recording everything.
Exactly.
I mean, this is what the Scientologist people teach as well.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I nearly joined them once, and then I heard about all the other stuff, and I was like, maybe not.
Maybe we will talk about that later.
Yeah, they do a lot of that. They really understand how much your brain records everything. So,
But I had a gentleman who came, the first time he came with a suit, tie and so on. The second time he came in shorts and and tongs. But he said the second time he came, he said, that's amazing. We sleep, we change with you. So in a matter of 1 week or 2 weeks, he thought he had slept the whole time during hypnosis, and he had slept, but his brain had recorded all the changes that he wanted to achieve. So, and he could feel that something was happening already.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. I actually do this just on myself a lot. So anyway.
We went away for the weekend,
Yes.
and it was my birthday. So then we were all talking thank you, with the girls, like, what are you looking for? What do you want to manifest? And then Steph put us all in manifestation stage, and she was like, when you're in this like kind of sleepy mode, it's starting to come. That's when you have to say those things and feel it.
Yes.
And like leave it, and then
there's a shortcut to this.
Oh.
Okay, magic trick. You can write a sentence, so it has to be a positive sentence. Okay, we can use. It is now this date, and I have I got the.
I'm gonna nail my interview next week.
Yes. Or do you want the perfect job? What is it? It's not just because the ultimate goal is not the interview; it's the job.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yes,
No. You don't talk in the future, because the future is always there. So it has to be. It is now this date, and I got the perfect job for me. Yeah. And you have to.
So you already have it.
Yes.
So you're living it.
You're living it. You're saying it. But so you write your sentence black on white, very clear. And you look at yourself in the mirror saying that. By looking at yourself, you're hypnotizing yourself. So that's self-hypnosis, you can do it. And you repeat 3-5 times the same sentence. Morning and evening, because the morning, you're still in that alpha state. And evening, you're about to fall asleep. So...
Nice. I have a lot of homework to do. I'm going to walk in the street, walk in the wood. I need a mirror when I wake up, when I go to bed. I am ready.
You're going to nail the perfect job. That's it.
I mean, it's amazing because, in all of this, conversation is basically saying that we have everything we need within ourselves. Like we do not need to really. Obviously, if you don't know it, you need to seek a professional who knows how to teach you how to do this.
Yeah, and to get back to anxiety, that's somehow, once again, it's helping you seeking help. If you can't do it by yourself because you're overwhelmed by the sadness, the fear, and everything, it's helping you to seek help and go there and say, okay, and the therapist is going to help you calm down, find your center again, place a goal in the future so that you have something positive to look forward to. I've got a lady who came a few months ago in tears. Her life was falling apart. The first session was just she crying. So we did only EMDR that day. And she came back 2 weeks later. She had stopped crying from that session, whereas she had been crying for months and months and months. So she stopped crying for 2 weeks. Well, from the first session onwards. And then I said, how are you feeling? And she said, much, much better, but I still have, anxiety and this and that. I said, okay, so we could work on NLP. We did NLP and we did a bit of EMDR again and hypnosis. My sessions last an hour and a half because we need all that time to work. And then she came back a third session. And I said, how are you feeling? And she said, oh, so much better, so much better. And I tell myself, if I'm not well again, I'll see Audrey. And I said, this is not the goal.
No, but it's something, because you can be overwhelmed by, your depression can really frighten you, right? To the point where it debilitates you to think, what would I do if this happens to me again?
Exactly.
The fact that even though she said I can see Audrey, providing Audrey's still alive, like,
thank you.
It's something. Like, it's something. It starts from there, because I feel like anxiety also comes from people not being able to, a lot of depression, people not being able to trust themselves, to trust their body, to trust what I can do. Like, I need to be held. Like, I need, like my example has always been, like, when I've had nightmares, my nightmares has always been walking down a steep stairs with no banister. That is a sign to me that I don't feel supported. I hate stairs with no banister, because I need to be able to hold on to something. And I think for her,
maybe it's from a past life.
Maybe it's from a past, because I'm ultra independent. So for me, it's not that I want people around. I just need to feel like I've got this going on, and normally I can hold on to something.
Sure.
And maybe you're her banister until she's able to.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, well, I can just roll down the stairs if I fall. I'm going to break an ankle. I'm not going to die.
So all those different methods, is there some specific type of anxiety or specific time when you need to apply one more than another?
For all the vapors out there, quit vaping straight away, because vaping, and it's proven now, scientifically proven, is linked to anxiety.
Well, isn't it the same as smoking?
No.
No.
The chemicals,
in
the chemicals in vaping are much, much worse and are related to anxiety amongst the younger generations.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because people vape because they're anxious.
Yeah.
Well, vape is a pacifier.
Originally, it's like marijuana, cannabis. Originally it's going to help you calm down, but then it's going to create anxiety and kill you. So, and how do you quit vaping? With hypnosis.
And so then, like, EMDR, I heard that it's mostly like for trauma.
Traumas, but I also use it for, well, nearly everybody now. Anxiety, trauma, addiction, phobias, and so on.
So, or would you, like, what's the decision criteria? Like, is it someone that is, like, in tears and then, like, they cannot self-regulate? Okay, let's do EMDR. If it's someone that knows they have an issue that's come a bit often, but, like, they look put together. Okay, let's do hypnosis.
But it really depends on, the conversation we have. And sometimes, the person explains to me by email, this is this and da-da-da. I say, okay, perfect, we're going to do this. That's so easy. And then we start talking and say, oh my God, that's not this, we're going to do that.
Got it.
So it really depends on each person.
Yeah, it's a self-assessment that you make.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, Audrey, what about the aftermath, as you use with your clients who says, well, if it happens again, I've got Audrey. How do we...
Or another Audrey.
Or another Audrey
if Audrey's dead.
But how, because the ultimate goal is that to be self-sufficient when it comes to this, because life is anxious. Life is anxiety.
So, and really the goal is, okay, some people call me and say, I'm ready, I want to start psychotherapy. How many years do you think I should do this for? And I said, whoa, hang on. If you come to see me, it's for a few sessions. So if you want to do a long-term psychotherapy, that's something else.
Yeah.
Because all those techniques are usually rather efficient. And because you reprogram your brain, you don't have the same blocks anymore. You don't have the same mind frame and so on. So you should be able to be self-sufficient very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. Really, I don't like having people forever.
No, because it's not helpful.
No.
It's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's a good sign. That's good. I love that. Just to bring it a bit more into the podcast and the woman part of it, I know so many women like that can have anxiety. Actually, like we just said in our previous episode that all women can show some anxiety, but I know so many that will just be like so high performing still with it. So how do we deal with that? Like it all looks like put together, but actually it's like a storm inside. And then like, how can we help with some of those tools?
Once again, the fact that they have anxiety and they're still hiding it, they're put together. You're saying to me is I would say to them, if you had a magic wand, how would you see your life? And if your life is not exactly how you want it to be, and if you're anxious because of what's happening in your life, but you see that your life could be completely different, I would say you need to act on where you are at the moment and change your life, because anxiety is telling you there's something really wrong.
Yeah. So again, it's this rewiring of the brain.
And rewiring of the brain, but also a change of your life.
And also, it's not a problem until it's a problem. Until somebody can acknowledge that I am going to like your client, where you hit. Sometimes I think people do need to hit the rock bottom, because the rock bottom is what's going to take them to seek help. Yeah.
So, what would you say to a woman that feels stuck in her anxiety?
Why?
Even after trying.
Well, why? But why? In the first place, why? What is she anxious about? Because the anxiety is just a symptom. So, what is the root cause?
Okay.
What is the root cause? And usually, we know what the root cause is. You know.
Is there a questions that you have, Laura?
No.
On your
No, I'm following the question guide. And then something that I was thinking is like with especially in your line of work, like you must be exposed to so much energy, so much like really draining energy. Or do you heal yourself, or do you manage that? Because like you can build up as well the anxiety just based on the environment.
Yeah. Well, to know, okay, in summer I go swimming. In winter it's too cold. Walking on the cliffs. But also knowing that I am connected, protected by something bigger than us.
Yeah.
So to me, that's my that's what helps me every single day.
So in the previous episode, I mentioned to Laura that people who have a religious practice or a spiritual practice tend to deal with anxiety, depression, and mental health issues better. So would you say that a connection with something higher than you, it's helpful to in managing?
300%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, I didn't realize this until I had somebody who came to see me, and she came for anxiety. She was all over the place. The first session she was like a tornado in my room, and I said, whoa, even I could feel her anxiety in my solar plexus, and I said, wow, what's going on? And so she explained the situation, and very unhappy in her life professionally. So that was perfect, because we already had the goal we were going to look forward to in her future. And I said, okay, so I explained my different techniques, and I said part of my techniques as well is to let go And she looked at me and she said, I'm French. I don't know how to let go.
Yeah, that wasn't me. I just want to say.
But could you relate since you're French too?
No, because she said French and I don't know how to let go.
And she said, you've been in Australia for a million years. You're the queen of letting go, let go, let go. They're so good here at letting go. I don't know how to do it. How do you let go?
Yeah.
In your face, Audrey, how do you let go? And I said, wow. And she was really confronting, like nearly angry. She wanted to know, okay, I don't know how to do it. How do you do it? And I had to think. I said, wow, okay, how did I learn how to let go? And I said, well, you know what? That was when I had massive depression, a nervous breakdown, and I was at the bottom of the hole, and I thought, I can't do it anymore. I just cannot do it anymore. You up there, whoever is up there, you do it for me. I've had enough. And I said, that's when things started to change. And she said, who's up there?
Oh my God, this should have been filmed.
And like that's good because it sparked a question for me. Would you say that to be able to like use those tools that you're using in hypnotherapy, you will need to be spiritual in some ways?
No, not necessarily. Not at all. You know, I have lots of people who come to see me who don't believe in anything, which it's a bit sad for them. But I must say that with everything that happens during the sessions, somehow they become aware. They become aware that there is something bigger than us, saying that there is something else. So, and it's good. And a lot of people say, actually, thank you for helping me with the anxiety, with whatever the problem was, but also because you opened my mind to, past lives or near-death experiences, or there is something else after death, or whatever, you know. So they realize, and they start reading, very important. They start reading those books.
Yeah, they're woo with stuff.
Exactly. That's it.
Oh, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add, something that maybe we haven't explored in our question that you think could be important for our listener today?
Well, to me, it's all about knowing what you really want inside you. We all, that's my belief. We all came here on this planet to do something. We all have a gift. So it's, and very often anxiety is a way to tell you, you're not using your gift. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
So disconnecting with purpose.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
This should be the title of the
Anxiety is a disconnection to purpose.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, but that's what I see. And, you know, and this way you can heal you can heal yourself, you can heal others, and you can heal the planet. You know, by getting rid of anxiety, but you get so much more by doing this.
Amen.
Amen for that. Thank you. And so then, like, for all our listeners that are in Australia and even beyond, if they want to like have a session with you, or like they want to know more, like how can they contact you?
My website will be there, or you can call me.
Well, let's just name your website. We're going to put it up on the links and on the thing anyway.
And there will be everything, phone number. Okay, the name of the practice is Serenity, Hypnotherapy and Psychotherapy.
Okay.
That's in the city in Sydney.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And then you were saying, I don't know if it was online or offline, we were saying that it's better to have a session face-to-face rather than online.
I do Zoom sessions, and I did a lot of Zoom sessions during COVID with people in France.
Is that with Hypno?
Yeah, mainly with hypnosis, because it's a bit hard to do EMDR online. And NLP, I could do NLP, taking the person in their heads, walking.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so make sure you guys, if you are Sydney based, to visit is Serenity Hypnotherapy and Psychotherapy. Okay, and that's in CBD. Yeah, that was so great, Audrey. Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you,
I
girl.
learned so much.
For adding that little spice. And I liked how it's really just finding solution, isn't it, for our troubles? Because anxiety, it can be so torturing
And
to live with it.
but what was really powerful is that, like you both said it, we have all the ability to walk through it, to cure from our anxiety as well. So that's perfect.
Yeah, right. That's fantastic. We come to the close of the circle. If there's anything about this conversation that you like, guys, do make sure you comment, ask us questions about it. Follow us on all of our platforms. That is the Sister Circle podcast. And if you've got any questions that you want us to talk about, you want us to answer or our opinion on, you can email us on @thesistercirclepodcast@gmail.com. And that's the Sister Circle podcast @gmail.com, or DM us on our Instagram. Thank you for listening. See you next week. Have a great week.
Have a great week.
Thank you. Bye.